The 2016 era of YouTube had some of the craziest channels we've ever seen in YouTube history. We had drama channels that would ruin people's lives, YouTubers who would bully children in front of millions of people, and prank channels that would literally commit crimes on camera and call it a prank. So yeah, today we're going to take a look at some of the good and not so good YouTubers from this era and find out where they are today. Starting out, we got Keemstar, who is probably most known for his channel DramaAlert. However, he had a pretty interesting rise on the internet. Keemstar's first appearance on YouTube was all the way back in 2009, where someone had recorded him in a Halo lobby doing a little bit of trash talking.
I'm gonna bend your mother over my knees, shave her ass hair, roll it up in a blunt, and make you smoke it.
This video had blown up, and with Keemstar getting some unexpected recognition, he was soon asked to join the Halo trolling channel named none other than FAG, the Federation of Asshole Gamers, which ended up being terminated. Around this time, Keemstar had also created several other channels, gaining tens of thousands of subscribers on each one. However, unfortunately for him, these channels would also be terminated for various reasons, and also considering the fact that he wasn't even allowed on YouTube in the first place. Keemstar even dabbled in live streaming, first on Blog TV where he trolled in front of thousands of viewers before getting console banned by Microsoft, and later on a site called BattleCam where the infamous Alex cliphead came from.
Yo, everybody type in the chat, Alex is a stupid name.
Yeah, so times were definitely different back then. At this point, Keemstar had already made himself known as one of the most controversial figures on the internet, and with basically every company in the world against him, Keemstar's trolling era had came to an end. And that is where DramaAlert began. Originally, DramaAlert started out with Keemstar primarily covering news within the Call of Duty community. However, he still faced a problem where his channels would constantly get terminated, even after several attempts of creating new ones. At some point though, him and his YouTube partner had figured out a genius loophole which allowed him to keep uploading on YouTube as long as it's technically someone else who's running the channel, eventually creating the new DramaAlert channel on June 16th of 2014, where he would cover all sorts of news on the internet and on YouTube, with his popularity peaking around 2016. Love him or hate him, the impact that he had on YouTube was pretty crazy and definitely entertaining with all the drama that was going on, and the fact that it was Keemstar running the channel out of all people made it even funnier in my opinion. However, considering this is Keemstar, ironically a lot of drama would come from the channel itself. In the time that Keemstar was running the channel, he had said that he cannot wait to report on the death of a YouTuber diagnosed with terminal cancer. He had mistakenly accused a completely innocent streamer of being a PDF file while confusing him with a completely different person, falsely accused Pyrocynical of being a PDF file, starting multiple podcasts, and gotten into beef with pretty much every single YouTuber on the platform. So yeah, he's definitely gotten himself into a little bit of controversy. In October of 2021, Keemstar announced that he would be retiring from YouTube sometime later that year. The final video on his channel was uploaded on April 30th of 2023, and since then the channel has been completely abandoned. There was also a brief period where he was hosting Friday Fortnite and Minecraft Monday events around 2018 and 2019. Those were actually pretty cool at the time, but unfortunately they did not last too long. Nowadays he is still active on Twitter and is part of another podcast with some people that I might have to talk about in another video. There's also a DramaAlert Twitter account which isn't even ran by Keemstar, but all in all, even though his content was very entertaining sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, he was probably one of the most toxic creators to ever touch the internet. However, if y'all do want some entertaining content that is maybe a little bit less toxic, then feel free to drop a sub. I'd greatly appreciate it. Another drama channel that a lot of y'all probably haven't heard of in a while was Scarce.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Scarce here.
At one point, Scarce's channel had actually overtaken DramaAlert in popularity. However, unlike DramaAlert, he was actually pretty chill and well respected within the YouTube community. Back around 2016 when he was popping off, this dude was pulling millions of views, but over time he would start to randomly disappear off of YouTube. Sometimes it was pretty much out of nowhere with no explanation. Other times he's explained that it was because of exhaustion, addiction, or even one time because his father had passed away. In 2018, he actually did a boxing match as an undercard for the KSI versus Logan Paul fight that was happening at the time. Unfortunately, he did end up losing the fight, but on the bright side, he actually had a pretty crazy weight loss transformation in preparation for the fight. So I mean, honestly, that's a pretty big win either way. The most recent upload on his channel was about 2 years ago now. However, looking at his Twitter account, he actually responded to a fan last year replying that he was trying to finish up a college degree. Also, interestingly, judging by his latest tweet, apparently he was trying to get a job working for Riot Games. So it seems like he's actually pursuing a path in the gaming industry, which is pretty interesting considering how much success he's had from YouTube. It's definitely good to see though that it at least looks like he's doing good today. By the way, I want to take a moment to talk about the sponsor of this video, which is GradeAUnderA. GradeAUnderA is a side-scrolling action RPG built around detailed pixel art and responsive combat. You control a team of 3 distinct knights, each with their own playstyle, and can switch between them in real time to chain powerful combos. The game is all about skill, where you'll be swiping and tapping to pull off dodges, parries, and counters, timing each move to take down tough enemies. With the release of the game, there are 21 characters to unlock, divided divided into 5 classes and 5 elements. Each one comes with a mix of normal, hold, ultimate, and linked skills, giving you several options to create your perfect team setup. This game features high quality pixel art from the characters to the environments, with a full story about a world on the edge of collapse and a fight to change its fate. Goddess Order is available now on Google Play and the App Store. Downloading gets you an SR Knight named Tia and 10 mana imbued pages. That is 10 pools plus an exclusive profile frame. The link to the game will be down below so that you can access all these perks. But yeah, thanks to Goddess Order for sponsoring this video. Outside of drama channels, there are also a few YouTubers who are part of this kind of edgy category back in 2016. The first to come to mind would be iDubbbz, who has had a pretty interesting transformation over the years, and I'm not gonna lie, kind of a crazy downfall as far as his reputation. iDubbbz created his channel back on August 17th of 2012, and not too long after, he was already gaining some popularity, basically criticizing random people online and mixing his dark, edgy humor into it.
I don't want to get too much detail into about this, but here's a preview.
Yo, what's up guys, my name's Ricardo.
Eventually, he started some iconic series like the Content Cops, where he would criticize other YouTubers. He had the unboxing series where his fans would send some pretty wild things, which I cannot show on camera because it is not 2016 anymore. And then he also had skits and challenge videos with his YouTube friends.
All sorts of good, it has fish in it, and it...
I'm gonna be honest, as a 10-year-old who grew up watching these, iDubbbz was probably not the greatest role model for our generation. Despite the edgy videos and the fact that he had little kids running around the internet saying slurs because of him, he was a surprisingly very well respected YouTuber, pulling in millions of views every single video. As time went on, he eventually started to make content that wasn't as edgy, and even then he was still doing pretty decent. However, within the past few years, things started to take a pretty sharp turn. During his YouTube career, he began dating Anissa Joma, who was also another creator. However, later in March of 2020, she would decide to become an OF creator. After that, this guy iDubbbz was getting clowned all across the internet, and judging by his response video to the situation, it seems like fans didn't really like that either. To be honest, even though it is funny, I don't think it's like the biggest deal in the world. However, like others have pointed out, I definitely do think it is a little bit strange that she would be doing that while dating iDubbbz, who is probably making hundreds of thousands if not millions of dollars a year. So that definitely makes it even more strange. In January of 2022, iDubbbz announced that he would be starting Creator Clash, which was a boxing event that featured big YouTubers across the platform with the goal of raising money for charity. First, it actually went pretty well, raising over $1.3 million for charity, with over 100,000 people paying to watch the event. However, there was one controversy that did come out of that event. A little back before the event, iDubbbz had worked on a video documentary where he recorded his time with the controversial comedian Sam Hyde. The purpose of the documentary was to criticize Sam Hyde, but this kind of backfired on iDubbbz because Sam pretty much took over the documentary, trolling him the entire way through, causing the video to not be finished. Fast forward to the Creator Clash event, iDubbbz and Anissa ultimately blacklisted Sam Hyde from the event, even after he apparently paid over $11,000, which would have been money going to the charity if he didn't get banned. The reason was pretty much because he was too controversial, which some people pointed out to be kind of hypocritical of iDubbbz because iDubbbz isn't exactly the most family friendly himself. To be fair though, Sam Hyde's background is a lot worse than iDubbbz, so I'll leave that up for y'all to decide. When Creator Clash 2 came around, that is when things really started to go south. Not only did they not raise a single dollar for charity at a charity event, they had personally lost $250,000.
For Creator Clash 2, despite it being a fun event, we lost $250,000 on the event. The way that this typically works for anyone who's unaware is that once our expenses are paid off for the event, then we can start paying the charities. Unfortunately, we didn't even reach the break-even point.
As of recently, Creator Clash 3 was in the works after iDubbbz and Anissa stepped down from the event. However, about a month ago, the Creator Clash Twitter announced that that would not be happening anymore. Also, I forgot to mention that after iDubbbz and Anissa had already backed out of the event, it was revealed in a random Q&A on the website that apparently this whole time they were taking 34% of the total profit, which is kind of strange that they didn't disclose that before. People also started to notice that on top of the whole OF thing, the dynamic between iDubbbz and Anissa was getting even weirder. I mean, time after time, she would just emasculate and humiliate him in front of everyone.
I just want to ask him if you've always been shitting your pants.
No.
Because since I've known you, you've always had, like, IBS. You've always been shitting yourself.
Yeah, well.
A couple years ago, iDubbbz had uploaded a video basically apologizing for any harm that his videos had caused from him being edgy. The funny thing is that no one was even mad at him in the first place, so he pretty much just tried canceling himself. A lot of people say that he's a hypocrite, which I do get. At the same time, I don't think it's a bad thing that he wants to mature and better himself. However, at the same time, when his own personality does a complete 180 and then he publicly hates on his fan base that he's responsible for, obviously people are not going to be too happy with that.
I did not like the interactions that I had with fans. There were quite a few human beings that I interacted with that just sucked because I attracted a lot of people who suck, very much like antisocial, weird, basement dwellers.
Not too long ago, iDubbbz had actually brought back his much beloved Content Cop series, only to dedicate it to criticizing his own friends H3H3, while in the same video having a breakdown because he feels sorry for them.
You know, I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Neil, and I'm like, fuck, like, it's just really, it's really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner.
I honestly don't think iDubbbz is some horrible person, probably. Overall though, it's definitely sad to see how iDubbbz's reputation has pretty much been obliterated throughout the years. Similar to iDubbbz, many of y'all probably know his friends and other people in that category of content like Maxmofoe, Anything for Views, HowToBasic, and FilthyFrank. Maxmofoe was like an actual OG of YouTube. Originally, he got popular doing phone call prank videos until eventually doing more challenge and skit videos such as Slip Inside of Death, Deadly Twister, a whole lot of vomit challenges, and Edward Watermelon Hands, where that one iconic iDubbbz clip came from.
Jump down, and then say some fucking gay shit.
I'm gay.
However, because of the kind of obscene nature of these videos, once the YouTube 2016 wave of demonetization censorship started to come around, this forced Max to not really be able to make the kind of content that he was making because they would instantly get demonetized and age restricted. This led Max to abandoning his main channel and eventually his other channels as well. Not all hope was lost though, because a couple years later, Anything for Views, who was a common member of their videos, had started a podcast called The Cold Ones, with Max joining in as a co-host. To this day, the podcast is still active and doing really well. They even had a reunion with iDubbbz in one of the episodes, where iDubbbz did receive a little bit of criticism. Overall though, I will say it's definitely nice to see that Max and Chad are still doing very successful today. Now, one of the biggest and most iconic YouTubers who were popular around 2016 and in that friend group had to have been FilthyFrank. By now, most of y'all probably know that he has transformed into Joji the musician. However, for the last couple years, he low-key kind of completely went missing, and people are starting to get worried about it. FilthyFrank began posting on his now main channel in 2013 after the success of his previous channel where he was blowing up doing skits and things like that. The one common thing between all these videos is that in each of them he's playing some sort of character, whether it's FilthyFrank, Pink Guy, who is probably the most well-known, or whatever other character he's going with for the day, often doing some pretty crazy stuff that would probably get your channel strike today. In addition to the videos, he also started using the Pink Guy character to kind of dabble in making music as well, with the Pink Guy music becoming a pretty big success, even dropping an entire album of joke songs. However, with all the success happening, in the background he was also quietly dropping music under the name Joji. At first it didn't get a whole lot of attention, but over time people started catching on and realizing that for a YouTuber he's actually pretty good. This was also around the time when every YouTuber and their mom wanted to become a rapper, but unlike all the YouTube diss track artists that were going around, he continued to make music and gain respect as an actual artist. Even though he was pretty much at his peak in popularity, with the FilthyFrank channel getting millions of views, it became clear that he wanted to use this opportunity that he had with the music where he could be himself and not have to constantly play a character. With that being said, in 2017 he would slow down with the videos until eventually releasing the final video on the channel, burying the FilthyFrank character into the ground, and even releasing a novel that ended off the lore that he created in the videos, ultimately giving the channel a final conclusion. After the end of FilthyFrank, Joji has now gone on tours across the world, even releasing multiple songs that have reached over 1 billion plays. I mean, there's a lot of fans now who only know him because of the music and have no idea who FilthyFrank even is. However, even though Joji is still very popular today, this guy has pretty much completely disappeared for the past 2 years. The last project Joji dropped was all the way in November of 2022, and since then he has not released even a single glimpse of music at all. His final post on Twitter was in September of 2023 announcing tour tickets, and the last thing I could find of him at all was like back in May of 2024 where he performed at some show. I even watched this video titled "Where is Joji?" and in conclusion, literally no one knows. There is an account that is still active today which people speculate Joji might be behind, because there was a period of time where that was the the only account that he followed at one point, but it's 100% speculation whether or not he's still behind that account. Either way though, it's definitely cool to see that Joji was able to become successful both on and outside of YouTube doing what he enjoys. To be honest, he's probably just enjoying his money right now. Now, of course, I cannot talk about those YouTubers I just mentioned without bringing up H3H3 Productions, who as of making this video is actually going through a pretty crazy controversy as we speak. The H3 channel was created back on April 29th of 2011 by both Ethan and Hila Klein. They started getting attraction around 2013 by posting YouTube poop style videos, which were basically humorous edits of random clips. However, eventually they would start posting these reaction type videos, basically making fun of random people on the internet, which would start to blow up their channel. What made their reaction videos different was that they actually provided like more substance and effort into their videos, unlike a lot of typical reaction videos from that time.
Yeah, I love that movie.
And of course, they were also doing skits and other things like that as well. Eventually though, the typical reaction commentary styled videos began to slow down due to the fact that they didn't think the videos were good enough to post anymore. And also they realized that if they aren't careful, the weight of their videos could literally destroy people's careers, reputations, or even lives. With that being said, not all hope was lost for H3 fans. On April 7th of 2017, they would upload the first episode of the H3H3 podcast, which would become a huge success for them. However, while the podcast was doing well, over the years, the main channel would slowly start to become neglected, leading fans to not be very happy about that. Even though the podcast was decent, fans were getting the same enjoyment that they were getting out of their main videos. As time went on over the years, people also started to notice that it wasn't just their content that was changing, but also their personalities. While obviously it's not a bad thing to grow and change as a person, a lot of their core fans were starting to think that maybe it was for the worse. Time after time, Ethan would start to get called out for being hypocritical. One example would be when Ethan was pretty much glazing the infamous YouTuber LeafyIsHere, yet just shortly after, he had made a whole video criticizing Leafy's content, saying that he was bullying kids.
Oh, and I almost forgot, he also said I bully kids.
Oh, all he does is make fun of kids?
Okay. Ethan, you sure you want to make this point? You really the same in this matter? You really not a hypocrite with this?
Clean cut? I wouldn't exactly call it clean cut. He's got the hair of a fucking 6-year-old dude with a goddamn shitty toupee.
And there's also many other examples as well.
I don't think Felix is a racist person, but god damn, he really kind of just was really comfortable using that word. It sucks. It really sucks. It's just a wonderful string of words that really gets you going. Fuck you.
Taking a look at the podcast channel, you can see that over the years it's definitely become more politically focused. While that's not inherently a bad thing, this would set them up for even more controversy down the line. Ethan and Hila Klein are both connected to Israeli heritage, with Hila actually serving in the IDF at one point, causing a bit of concern from some of their fans, especially considering the world events that are going on right now. So yeah, pretty much based off of that and then like several other claims that they have made, a lot of people say that they're defending Israel even when they say that they aren't. As I mentioned earlier, both H3 and iDubbbz had gotten into a pretty big beef recently when iDubbbz had dropped an entire content cop dedicated to them, which brought up their hypocrisy, online behavior, and their political views. Now I will say H3 and Hila were high-key getting harassed, with them getting child protective services called to their house to check in on their kid after a false report stating that their kid was potentially eating dog feces off of the ground, stemming from a rumor caused by some friends of iDubbbz, which iDubbbz did not ever bring up in his content cop. I mean, Ethan and Hila literally had human skulls being sent to their house and had to get investigated by the FBI. I don't know if that's directly related to the situation, but either way, that should obviously not be happening.
One last question. Did you send the skulls?
I didn't send the skulls. I don't know. I thought the skulls thing was kind of humorous to hear that.
What's crazy though is that they all used to be good friends, with some of H3's most popular videos featuring iDubbbz in them. To this day, they are still going back and forth, and the chances of them ever rekindling their friendship is not looking too good at the moment. Now literally as I was making this video, Ethan Klein had just gotten himself into a not so good type of situation. Twitter users have found Ethan Klein's old Reddit profile named u/pedotroll from 2010. This account promoted H3 YouTube videos, posted about living in Israel and Israeli supremacy, and made several comments as a pro PDF file account. Now at first it wasn't 100% confirmed until H3 had released his own statement on it. My friends, I have a terrible confession to make. Yes, it is true, my 15-year-old Reddit account was identified using a doxing website that lists a history of all emails and passwords that have been leaked in illegal data breaches. Yes, my account username pedotroll made a few bizarre and edgy attempts of being funny. It was common on Reddit 15 years ago to create a thematic systematically named troll account to post silly things from. These troll stories include anecdotes that clearly never happened, including a story that references my own children who were born 10 years later. Further evidence of this is that I was simply self-promoting my YouTube channel while doing these parody posts. I knew I was personally identifiable the whole time. I was trying to be funny so people would look at my account and discover my YouTube channel. I was not ashamed of it then, and I am not ashamed of it now. Embarrassed? Yes. On par with cringing at my old YouTube videos. So yeah, that was basically that. I get that this was 15 years ago where people just said whatever because it's funny and edgy, but either way, I still feel like some of the stuff he said was pretty strange. If you've watched YouTube around 2016, you've probably had to witness some of the insane prank channels around the time before most of them got banned. RomanAtwood was one of the most popular YouTubers a while ago, and he is one of the only, if not the only YouTuber I've ever seen to be asked by the FBI to stop uploading videos. Roman had some pretty notable videos back in the day, such as the crazy plastic ball prank, sex with Vitaly's mom prank, stealing people's gas prank, unaliving my kid prank, blowing up my kid prank, flashing children prank, and the list goes on. RomanAtwood's final video on the prank channel would be uploaded in April of 2016, before fully switching to his vlog channel, which became even more successful than his original. However, at the end of 2019, the Atwood family would take a break from the channel, returning next year to post an update where they had a little bit of concerning news to share.
I guess the most important part of this whole video, whatever you take out of this whole video, is that we still technically shouldn't be posting. There's some absolute craziness happening behind the scenes in our lives. We are all healthy, all of us.
Since then, he wouldn't make a complete return back to YouTube until January 3rd of 2021, where he uploaded the video Forced Off YouTube Full FBI Story, where he explained what actually happened.
We've been dealing with some extremely scary stalkers. I want you to imagine that you have to have a funeral for somebody that you love. These stalkers threaded a funeral. They've gotten into literally in our vehicles, like shutting our vehicles on and off and powering them on and off and
setting the alarm off while we're just sitting at home with our kids.
Like the alarm in our house. This home, they turned the power off. He literally would say, like, he threatened to like hang our whole family on crosses.
Yeah, so I do not know why someone would ever do that. A little over a year ago, they stopped posting on the vlog channel and created another channel that's almost the exact same style, but more geared towards their older audience. But yeah, as of now, it seems like they're not going through that whole situation anymore, and it looks like they're actually doing pretty good. However, unfortunately for most of the other prank channels, they did not leave such a wholesome legacy on YouTube. Joey Sounds was a very well-known and also controversial prank channel at the time. He would make these social experiment type videos where most of them seemed crazy but actually weren't that bad. However, over time, with people pushing the limits of pranks to compete with everyone else, Joey had started to tiptoe into some not so good type of content.
What's up guys, Joey Salads here. And you may have seen on the internet and through the polls that a lot of black people don't like Trump, and they don't even like his supporters in some cases. So what I did was, I got a car, put some Trump apparel on it, and we're gonna park it in a black neighborhood and see what happens.
15 minutes later.
Now you might be thinking, well damn, they destroyed the car, so obviously they're not right. The catch is that this whole video had been exposed for being completely fake. Someone had recorded the video from above, and you could see literally everyone in the crowd watching him film the intro. So yeah, despite what your political views are, you might be able to see why this is kind of problematic. Ironically, since then, he actually did pursue a political career for a small amount of time, and to this day, he is still uploading prank videos despite not pulling in the amount of views he once was. In addition to Joey Sounds, you also had some other out-of-pocket prank channels like PrankInvasion, who would pretty much just upload softcore corn for us 10-year-olds who were watching. Now, of course, these videos were fake, but what wasn't fake was when he did the kissing my sister prank and then his mom. If you take a look now, his channel has been completely wiped off of YouTube, with his final ever appearance being in 2019, where he had given a goodbye to the internet. Creators like SoFloAntonio took it even further, doing pranks like the drugging girls in public prank. I think he was actually the pioneer of the gone sexual type videos too. He was also known to literally just steal other YouTubers' videos and re-upload them on Facebook without giving any credit, getting him into a whole lot of controversy. Eventually he got suspended on YouTube, causing him to pretty much stop uploading even after it was over. He would also blow up on TikTok before also quitting a couple years ago too. Probably one of the worst prank channels during the era had to have been Sam Pepper. He would make game-changing pranks such as the lassoing girls on the street prank, handcuffing himself to girls and not letting them go until they made out with him prank, and the groping random woman on the street prank. So yeah, this dude was literally committing crimes on camera, and unsurprisingly, Surprisingly, he would receive several allegations from different women. Y'all might also remember that one time when he pranked his friend by kidnapping him and then doing a fake execution of his best friend in front of him. Within recent years, he's tried to make a comeback doing TikToks and kick streams, which haven't really been working for him. However, there actually were a couple streamers who successfully rebranded into streamers. You might remember Vitaly and fouseyTUBE back in the day, who both made some pretty interesting prank videos. Vitaly started out by making pretty harmless content, just trolling random people, even starting the in the hood prank trend that was going around. Now this guy is no stranger to getting in legal trouble for random shit. However, there was one incident that pretty much completely ruined his reputation on the internet.
Exactly what's happening, ma'am. Somebody's outside beating the out of somebody.
On April 12th of 2020, Vitaly would brutally attack a random jogger outside of his house while allegedly being under the influence of something. This would lead him to getting into loads of legal trouble, completely ruining his reputation, and would harm his income with the loss of sponsorships, in addition to the fact that YouTube was already starting to demonetize some of his past content. After slowing down on his channel, eventually he would start to post content that wasn't as controversial, but that wouldn't last too long because he would soon start transitioning into TikTok and Kick, and as y'all know, nothing good ever happens on Kick. He started doing these live Chris Hansen styled pred catches that were doing extremely well for him. On the surface, it seems like he's doing a good thing by doing that. However, it became clear that pretty much all of it was really just for personal gain.
You came to meet here, a 15-year-old boy? Don't act like you don't speak any English. Pick a mine. Pick a mine. Click anywhere on the screen. Guys, make sure you use the code Vitaly. Don't be a pussy. Sign up right now.
Also, the way they have it set up is that even if they catch the PDF files, they're never actually going to be able to face any legal consequences anyways. However, after an incident that happened during one of the catches, he had to switch to different kinds of content where now he would literally just harass people in the Philippines.
Excuse me, madam, I'm gonna fucking rob you. I want to give you money. No? Okay. No. Okay, because you got a COVID mask, you liberal.
Eventually though, this would catch up to him as he was finally arrested earlier this year and is still locked up as we speak. As far as fouseyTUBE, he's definitely had a pretty rocky road as well. While some of his pranks were interesting, like many other channels, he would also be exposed and even admitted to faking his pranks as well.
But Fousey, you fake shit. How are you gonna talk about fake shit? Exactly. If anybody knows about fake shit, it's me.
For the next couple years, he moved away from prank videos and started making other types of content, with things going pretty smoothly until July of 2018, where he would organize an event called Hate Dies, Love Arrives. Unfortunately, this would completely flop, despite him saying that it would be the next Coachella, and even promoting the event as if Drake was going to come and perform there because he manifested it. Only 1,500 people would show up, before ultimately ending early because of a bomb threat. And the worst part of it all, Drake did not show up. After they evacuated into a parking lot, Fousey would stand on top of a car speaking to his audience and arguing with none other than Keemstar in the crowd.
You're heating up your breakfast when I'm heating up my dinner.
To me, it seems like this would mark the moment where Fousey would start to spiral out of control. For a brief amount of time, Fousey entered his boxing arc, where unfortunately he had lost against Deji, and after that he would start his live streaming arc where things were about to get 1,000 times worse. Every single day I would see new clips of Fousey absolutely crashing out and having these breakdowns, which is why people started tuning into these streams, causing him to do even more crazy things to keep the attention going. In these streams, he would have mental breakdowns, he would assault people on camera, fire his employees on the spot, and even get himself arrested on camera, leading him to be sent to a mental institution for a little bit. There was one incident that happened where on stream, he would flirt with this random girl at an airport that was clearly drunk, and after her sharing her story about how she was a victim of trafficking, Fousey flipped the camera around for like 20 minutes before coming back and saying that he joined the Mile High Club with her in the bathroom.
I just joined the Mile High Club. And I know it doesn't count as the Mile High Club because I was in the airport, but I still joined it.
After seeing the backlash from the chat, he would instantly start to have a breakdown saying how bad of a person he was.
I'm not a good person.
But yeah, that was definitely a strange situation that made people lose even more respect for him. Since then, he has gotten banned multiple times and has continued to go on these episodes. Earlier in March, he did a live stream marathon where he would fast for 30 days, starting a shift in content more geared towards lifestyle and self-improvement type videos. Me personally, I thought this was great to see him make content like this. But after reading some comments, it seems like not everyone's happy yet. It turns out that Fousey had raised $15,000 for charity, and as far as I'm aware, based on his last update, this money was still not sent to a single charity, despite the fact that it was supposed to go to one immediately after the money was raised.
The original plan was to donate it to charity right when we finished, but then coming out of the fast, something felt off. I didn't want to just click a button, donate to one of these organizations, and then move on with my life. I decided I wanted to do it the right right way.
So yeah, while it is good to see a change in content and character, it's kind of unclear how authentic this change really is. Outside of prank channels, there were also some other huge channels that y'all might remember as well. CaseyNeistat was undoubtedly the most popular vlogging channel, who I think had the most popular vlogging series in probably all of YouTube history. Even though vlogs on YouTube aren't as popular as they used to be, for the past 15 years, Casey has been consistently dropping videos and they're still doing pretty good today. The only real controversy he's been in was in the past few years, where he had worked on a documentary covering David Dobrik, an actual controversial creator with many accusations against him and his team. However, to this day, Casey has still not released a documentary because he wanted to find a distributor to publish the video first, which never ended up happening, and leading some people to lose respect for him after that situation, because there probably was a lot of revealing information about David Dobrik's character in that documentary. RiceGum was another one of the most popular YouTubers that had blown up around 2016. At first, he pretty much got his success by bullying kids on the internet, which seemed to be a common theme at the time. Eventually, he started making some other content like vlogs, diss tracks, and of course, you can't forget the 1 kill equals remove 1 piece of clothing videos. In 2019, he faced a controversy for basically promoting a mystery box gambling website to his audience full of kids, which he then released probably the worst response video for.
You guys already saw a money hungry side of me, and it is what it is, and there's nothing I can really do but say sorry and give you these Amazon gift cards. So I'm sorry, it just wouldn't happen again. Amazon codes $10 to $20, just a little giveaway. It's the least I can do after, you know, this, you know.
In 2021, RiceGum and some other creators would promote a charity crypto scam called Save the Kids. He claimed that he didn't profit from that, but that's still not really a good look. Eventually, RiceGum had started to slow down posting content, but later in 2023, tragically, he would post a video announcing the stillbirth of him and his girlfriend's child. Not long after, he would actually make a brief comeback to the internet by signing with Rumble and streaming on their platform for almost a year until deciding to retire, and since then having another kid. Now lastly, I want to talk about some of the commentary channels, which to me at least is probably the highlight of the 2016 YouTube scene. GradeAUnderA is a YouTuber who I'm sure a lot of y'all have probably completely forgotten about. He started out by making these low quality animation type videos covering random topics.
And really quickly, let's just have a look at these. This is a red squirrel, this is a red fox, and this is a red panda. What do you spot wrong here? Yeah, exactly, right? They're not fucking red at all, are they? They're all orange. How did you guys not spot that?
Eventually though, he started covering more drama related stuff, and he was probably one of the most loved commentary channels at the time. However, there would be a couple hiccups which kind of made people question his videos. The first was the fact that he would constantly make fun of and criticize other YouTubers, but when people did the same to him, he didn't take it very well, leading some people to call him out for being hypocritical. Another hiccup would be when in a video, GradeA had accused Keemstar of being a PDF file because of an old live stream where a 15-year-old girl had appeared on it naked with signs covering herself saying "I love Keemstar." While yes, a girl did appear on the stream doing that, there was absolutely no evidence of her being 15, with Keemstar himself saying that she was known to be 19 at the time.
According to her, and according to everybody, and according to her boyfriend, she was 19 years of age.
To be fair, Keemstar has done the same thing to other people multiple times. Either way, I think it's kind of careless to tell millions of people that someone's a PDF file without providing any proof at all. Over time, GradeA would go on random hiatuses and come back, with the biggest gap being nearly 4 years between uploads. As of now, he's actually still somewhat active and doing pretty well on YouTube despite not being as popular as he once was. Pyrocynical was another commentary YouTuber around 2016, and he is probably one of the only creators in this video to face a life-ruining allegation and somehow come out of it still being well respected. Originally, he started out by posting these MLG edit type videos until eventually switching to commentary type content when that started becoming popular. People would criticize him for being a Leafy clone, which is kind of true, but unlike Leafy, his channel would actually evolve, and nowadays he makes more video essay styled content on random subjects, mainly games, in addition to the modern commentary type videos that go on a second channel. Now, like most other YouTubers, he has also faced a couple controversies, the first being multiple instances of drama between him and Keemstar, where you had Keem falsely accusing Pyro of being a PDF file, as well as Keemstar having a freak out because Pyro gave a small suggestion to him.
No, you make a fucking video criticizing me. Alright bro, you're a fake piece of shit, and if you fucking swing at me, I'm gonna swing much harder back.
I simply suggested you add a disclaimer to avoid confused viewers to blindly hate on someone's channel.
There was also another time where Pyro had shouted out this small YouTuber known as LtCorbis.
An 11-year-old girl has literally made a commentary on how to be original on YouTube. You know the worst thing is, It's actually really fucking good.
It's just like a big cluster butt fuck nothing. Some good shit. I'm a pussy.
She would then blow up, reaching almost 1 million subscribers. However, this would backfire as she would switch up on Pyro, calling him a coward because of another situation. She had been investigated by the police because of her videos, and then she would later get banned off of YouTube and Discord due to some not so friendly comments about pretty much every group of people you could possibly imagine. Fast forward to 2020, Pyro would then face his most serious allegations yet, when allegations would come out about Pyro grooming a 15-year-old when he was 19. So in these allegations, messages were leaked between the two having inappropriate conversations while doing some interesting roleplay. Things were not looking great for Pyro as he had everyone turning against him, until he made a response video that was actually pretty decent. In the response, he debunked the whole grooming part of the situation, with the alleged victim actually admitting in an interview that he didn't even really know what grooming meant. Pyro also stated that yeah, the messages did happen, but he also had no idea that the person was 15. I think the lesson here is that you should always check for age when you're doing furry roleplay with someone. But after that response, people kind of ignored the whole situation and quickly forgave him, and since then he's continued to upload content that still does good to this day. As an honorable mention I actually saw while scrolling through Twitter, we got this guy who I'm sure a lot of y'all remember.
LeafyIsHere, Pyrocynical, RiceGum, Keemstar, they are all Cyberbully Channels Kid.
People were hating on this guy back then, but what's crazy is that he was kind of low-key right this entire time, because some of these YouTubers were legit bullying little kids, which is kind of crazy. Nowadays, this guy is an actual adult. I think he's probably my age now, and the craziest part of it all is that he actually makes music that isn't too bad now. Now finally, for this last YouTuber, we have LeafyIsHere, who is probably one of the most iconic YouTubers of the 2016 era. Leafy had originally started blowing up on YouTube after posting commentary videos over gameplay, often with CSGO surfing footage behind him. In these videos, he covered all sorts of topics and people that he thought were cringe, slowly building a cult fan base being called the Reptilian Army. Now unfortunately, Leafy's Reptilian Army would soon get out of hand when they started attacking basically anyone that Leafy would criticize. This becomes even more of an issue when you have Leafy making videos attacking kids, people with special needs, and anyone else considered cringe at the time. One example would be with someone named TommyNC2010, who is autistic and made a video that is cringe, but ultimately was doing a good deed for someone.
I see this woman pulling out of her car, and I ran so fast I got to the top of her car as she was pulling out, and I handed her eggs. Isn't that right, ma'am?
It is. Thank you. I didn't realize I put eggs on top of the car. I appreciate that very much.
Yes, you know, and the thing is, folks,
Leafy would then make a video going pretty harsh on this guy, leading tons of his fans to spam hate on Tommy's channel. Tommy then uploaded a video titled, "I am getting death threats, LeafyIsHere. Why?"
I'm having a difficult time right now because some people are threatening my life, threatening my family.
Leafy did make an apology video where he basically thanks his fans for supporting him like 70% of the video, and then at the end was like, yeah, I didn't know he was autistic, my bad. So me personally, I'm not really buying into that. Now this was just one out of several times where he would just bully people on the internet, even just straight up attacking people's appearances in some cases.
Hey guys, Wet Movie 1 back here again.
Okay, I'm sorry, but what happened to this guy's face?
For a while, Leafy was actually very liked and well respected. Even as a kid, I thought these videos were like the funniest shit ever. However, public opinion started to shift on Leafy once other well-respected YouTubers gave a shot at criticizing Leafy himself. YouTubers like iDubbbz, H3, Keemstar, and a lot of other people all took turns calling out Leafy. While this alone wouldn't hurt his channel in any way, the YouTube apocalypse would. Around 2016 to 2017, YouTube started cracking down on edgy content, causing a mass wave of demonetization for many creators at the time, including Leafy. With this being said, Leafy had continued to upload until late 2017, where he would pretty much disappear off the internet entirely.
My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account, and I think all of it is cool. Yeah, I know.
Dude, you're a fucking cuck.
With the iDubbbz OF girlfriend situation, this would call for the return of Leafy in 2020, marking a comeback on YouTube that would last for quite a bit. Things would actually go pretty smoothly until he had gone into a beef with none other than Pokimane, where he would upload countless videos on her, or even just using her as clickbait for other videos. However, on August 20th of 2020, everything would change, as Leafy's channel would be suddenly taken down without any warning at all. Considering Pokimane's past of taking down videos that talk about her negatively at all, a lot of people assumed it was because of her. However, she did state that she had nothing to do with it. I will say that even though I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Leafy and his actions, I personally don't think that YouTube should just terminate someone's channel instantly. If anything, they should have just given him a warning because it was kind of out of nowhere. He did try returning on Twitch before getting banned. He joined Storyfire, which is like a failed YouTube competitor, so that didn't work out. He even tried making some new YouTube accounts, which all got terminated as well. In 2023, he would drop the first picture we've seen of him in a while, and yeah. He also somehow got signed to Rumble, which actually turned out pretty successful for him, even hitting over 10,000 at one point. After getting his Twitter account back, he would then go on to say some not so nice things about trans and gay people, getting suspended from Twitter, which is kind of impressive. And really the last we've seen of him was some Instagram posts from a while ago. But yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure if he's ever going to come back or not. Let me know what YouTubers y'all used to watch in 2016, because I know there's a lot of them that I didn't get to cover. Also, we just hit 50,000 subscribers, so I just wanted to say I really appreciate y'all's support on the channel. But yeah, if y'all want to invest before we hit 100K, feel free to drop a sub. Make sure to download Goddess Order below, and peace y'all.